Hey guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com. Do a quick first impressions gameplay video for LaTale, free-to-play 2D side-scrolling MMORPG developed by Actas and published by Papaya Play. I spent 10 to 15 minutes on the ground checking this game out. Make comments if you guys do want to play LaTale or just learn more about it. Do check the whole review on MMOs.com on the link below. So you can see the playable classes. The game is a bit old, launched back in 2008 in North America. However, it relaunched through Papaya Play at the end of June of 2017. Was originally available through OG Planet. Your starting classes include the Monk, the Wanderer, the Card Master. I'm liking her. She's mega cute. You have Warrior, you got Soulbreaker, Wizard, and Explorer, and Engineer. There is a male and female version of each. They are not gender locked. Appearance customization is very similar to MapleStory. In fact, this game is very similar to MapleStory. And we're going to jump on my Sorcerer character instead. It's worth mentioning there are job advancements in the game as well. At level 50, players can branch off to 2 different jobs each. The Wizard can be both a Sorcerer or a Bard. Not sure how Wizards become Bards, but in this game, they do. The core gameplay here is actually very similar to MapleStory. The art style, I would say, is a bit of a mix of Ragnarok Online as well as MapleStory. So we got some XP rates going up right now for the current events in the game. I should mention too that this character is level 66. I've been playing this one for a couple of hours, like 3 or so hours. So XP rate is definitely pretty quick. You can see my quests over here. Oddly, they're not marked on the side over there. Let's go do this one. We defeat 30 Nutcrackers in this area. We are in Alpha, and you can see the game's map, super useful. You can very quickly see what level each enemy is. And in fact, if you zoom into an area, you can see again very quickly what level each of the, where you are on each of the maps. So the map is super convenient. So let's go find our way outside of town, and we can kill some things to show you some core gameplay. Let's go to the desert area, and you can see some enemies here to kill. I've played this back in the past through OG Planet. One of the big changes in the game over the years was how much faster they made the XP rates. You can level up very quickly versus previously it was much more of a grind. If you played MapleStory, it's definitely like a post-Big Bang kind of thing. In fact, since the game's relaunch, they've been very generous with gear and promotional items. When you first start the game gives you a whole ton of freebies. Stuff like, you get almost all the gear I'm wearing right now. I got level 1, all this level up gear, which is very, very powerful stuff. In fact, it almost feels like you're playing a private server with how much powerful gear you get early on. In fact, the freebie gear you get is good enough basically until, probably until level 100 or so. That gear is just very strong early on. And I think the reason they did that is because with the relaunch, actually, the game's, players did lose their characters with the transfer. That's why they're probably making everyone level up quicker. Ultimately, though, if you're interested in a game like MapleStory, this is probably well worth checking out. I mean, the core gameplay is very similar, and there aren't that many side-scrolling MMORPGs out there. I've been playing this for at least a few hours already, and I do like it, mainly because I love MapleStory, and because of how much I love MapleStory, I have to kill 10 of these cubes for my quest right here. Because how much I like MapleStory, there aren't that many other games like it, and for that reason alone, I think LaTale is worth checking out if you also enjoy MapleStory. If you don't like MapleStory, you're not going to like this one. The core gameplay is very similar. A few other differences in the game is, you don't get the spam abilities the way you do in MapleStory. Every ability has a pretty long cooldown. Like certain abilities have 10-second cooldowns, 8-second cooldowns. So you have more, your rotation's a bit more in depth. And you can see I basically have 9 abilities equipped right now. When you fight bosses, I'm gonna basically use all my abilities except just 1 or 2. Because in MapleStory, you basically mash 1 ability the whole time, or possibly 2 or 3 later on. Little handsome egg following me is my little pet. All it does is basically pick up loot for me. Makes it super, super easy. But all the loot you get early on is pure garbage. So we have to go inside this pyramid, I believe, for one of our quests. Let's not this pyramid. Keep going down. Next map for us. And I want to show you when you click M, it's very convenient. I love the game's interface. The interface actually looks quite old. It looks unintuitive. When you first look at it, like it looks very dated, like old Ragnarok style interface. But actually, it's quite intuitive. The map I absolutely love. The map I think is way more useful than the MapleStory map. You can double jump as well, so you get some really easy mobility. But I would say you get more mobility in MapleStory, if anything. Can we go in here? Oh, no, we can't. It's only for new players. We can't go in there. I'm going to keep pushing on to the left. The world, I would say, is a bit more linear, though, because you kind of start off in Belos, and you got to kind of progress. You have less paths to go. It feels more of a linear game. But overall, if you like MapleStory, the core combat here is definitely pretty fun. The only real downsides off the top of my head are probably the fact that it feels like a bit like a private server early on. But then again, so does MapleStory since the Big Bang patch, so that's not necessarily a big one. Mobbing is a bit slower. I mean, there's big groups of enemies too, but the movement feels a little bit jankier, a little better, a little bit slower movement. You don't get to kill enemies as fast, but your ability is still do pretty good AoE damage. It's not as crazy AoE the way MapleStory has it. So I think we're in a new town over here now. We're loading into a different zone. Yep, we are now in the city of Aoki. And we went a little further back, actually. We're going to go... I want to show you one of the starting towns as well. Every single town actually has this little teleporter. Lets you easily move around the game's map. And we're going to click Use Town Portal. And let's go to the city of Belios, one of the starting areas. This game is actually quite popular. There's, I think, 6 or so channels, maybe a bit more. Only one server, though. And I'm playing a very odd hour. You know, you can see lots of people in this game pretty much all the time. People still play. And it's been around for almost 10 years here in the West. So let's go back to Alpha. And let's go the other direction and explore a bit more. The core gameplay, I think, is fairly fun. For some, it keeps you grinding away at it. You have a pretty in-depth skill system as well. There's actually multiple job advancements. The skill system is basic skill tree over here. The job advancement, I think, level 70, 140, and a few other ones. I think max level is around level 200. So we want to go to Orca Beach. That's where all our quests are right now. So to find Orca Beach, you can see on your map, this brings you down to the restaurant. If we go further to the right, it brings us to Alpha Harbor. Yep, so we're going to go to the right. It's much easier. The map is much easier to use, and you won't get lost with it. I absolutely love that. The Maple map is definitely confusing. And even the animations in this game, I think, are pretty cute. Just the movement and stuff. My character rides her little broom. Any other players running around. You can see my Let's Play little title over my head. I think it's a bit obnoxious. MapleStory also has those obnoxious titles, but they don't glow as much as this. That's the Dark Forest. We don't want to go there. We want to go to the beach. Let's jump down over here, and we're going to kill enemies on the beach. Experience. Oh, nice loading screen. Experience is super fast-paced, though. You can get to level 60 in like 2 or 3 hours. And I do recommend questing. Every time you hand in a batch of quests, you can get up to 5 levels at a time. So again, they've sped up the experience quite a bit. I mean, there's a lot of positives to like here. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with this game. I mean, it's not like a deep storytelling game, but the core gameplay mechanics are definitely not bad if you like MapleStory. If you don't like MapleStory, stay the hell away from this one. But if you like games like MapleStory and you like that 2D-ish, I still think MapleStory is the best side-scrolling MMORPG. But if you're kind of burnt out of that and you want to try something a bit different, this one is worth trying, I think. Especially because the XP is super fast early on. So you can grind to level 50 in like really an hour and a half, and that's it. Let's go ahead and actually have to kill a few more crabs. I'm sure we'll find some crabs here. Let's kill these dudes for that easy XP. The background BGMs are a bit, they're memorable and quite nice. There's no Ragnarok Online or MapleStory, but the BGMs are still pretty catchy, and I do like them. There are dungeons in the game too. It's just really a MapleStory-like experience. It's a game I would recommend for anyone that enjoys MapleStory. Use my little bubble attack. Let's kill these crabs here too. Only thing is, it feels less of a world than MapleStory because of how linear the progression is. Because you quite literally start at Belos, and you literally just move to the right, and every little zone, you only have one real path to go. This brings you to the Big Apple, but that's a separate zone. But really, you basically always moving to the right. It feels a bit more like a hallway than the traditional MMORPG. Whereas MapleStory, I think, has multiple spots to level at each, at each level zone, level range. Here, not so much. And the quests just give a crazy amount of experience. And you have so many event items in the game, your inventory gets full very quick. Like this gives me 5 times XP rate for a while. So every time I kill a crab now, I'll get so much more XP. So leveling, it feels a bit like a joke. But again, it still slows down because as you get higher level 200 level cap is still pretty huge. And I think one of the reasons LaTale did pretty well early on is MapleStory never had PvP until like way later. Whereas this game had PvP pretty early on. Let's kill this crab here too. Orca Beach 3 is that way. Let me see if I have to kill a few more. I get more big gemstones for my quest. And then we hand that in later. I think we're good here. Maybe kill more crab here. Yep, let's go to the next map. We got, let's see, we have 9 out of 18. So it's not these items on the ground, otherwise my pet would have taken it. Maybe we'll find it over here. More crabs for me to kill. Honestly, the only other games like MapleStory, besides this, you can be, Ghost Online. You had a game like Windslayer and Wonder King, and that was it. I mean, there really aren't that many MapleStory clones. But if you look at like 3D, generic, fantasy, or RPG that's like Korean, there are just so many games like that, Games like Shea, games like Last Chaos, like those games, I mean, people love Shea and Last Chaos. Both games are still around actually. But like that look and feel is something we've seen so many times. Whereas, I don't claim this is an original game, but there just really aren't that many MapleStory knockoffs. And given that MapleStory today is one of the top 10, highest grossing PC games and more, MMOs, I'm surprised there aren't more knockoffs considering just how popular it is. So now we're in a new city. We're in the city of Ves. You can see and click M. We can see that's a quest location here in the restaurant. And I have no other quest to hand in over here. Though if we go, I think we go back to other town, Alpha. I think a quest. Yeah, I got a quest to hand in over there too. So we want to go back to Alpha just to hand that quest in. I do get a few more of those gemstones, but let's go run over there for now. Let's use town portal. And back to alpha we go. And you gain so much XP for questing. Do not ignore the quests. All the quests are basically kill quests anyway, so there's no reason not to do them. Let's go peruse that way now. Yep, talk to this guy, hand in these check marks, up arrow for that. The translations are actually still not good. The game's been out for almost 10 years, but the English translations are a little bit sketch. But then again, you're not playing this game for its story. A few other like small interface things. With one button, you can hand in all your quests, and you can actually accept all the quests at one button too. Early on, there's like 7-8 quests on a single NPC. So the fact that you can grab all of them at once is super useful. And we were level 66. We're probably gonna level up by doing these. And let's see, we gained, we gained 1 level for doing this. Sometimes when you hand like 5-6 quests at a time, you level up 4 or 5 times at a time. So the XP rate is definitely pretty quick. You can accept all at once. It's super convenient. I actually really like that. There are just small elements in this game that I think are really nice. The fact that you can grab all the quests, the fact that the map is super functional, like way more functional than the MapleStory map, despite MapleStory being a much bigger game. The client is also more responsive. Let's be real, the MapleStory client is garbage. It crashes, it's iffy. And this game's got the most ridiculous looking postman. Check this guy out. He's literally just slurping on that mail over there, that letter. I mean, whoever designed this guy is a badass, let's be real. Plus, the game has this little help menu, which is actually pretty useful. Like, honestly, you can see your job advancements over here. It's level 50, and then you get the second one at level 100, and this one is going to be at level 170. And you get subclasses as well, 0 and 40. So there's actually a good amount of variety in LaTale. Not nearly as many classes as MapleStory, because that game's been out forever. But, I mean, it's a good chunk of variety. Honestly, it is on the downside. Again, if you've played MapleStory, some of the core elements here are going to be kind of repetitive. And I think MapleStory personally is still a better game. I've played a lot of MapleStory, and I've loved that game for a long time. But if you just want to play something different, it's worth checking out. You got the dungeons and whatnot. And I think overall, it's a surprisingly fun game. You know, if you like what you see, check it out. You're not going to get some deep experience. There are like bosses, but it's not like crazy fun boss mechanics the way ESO or FF14 or WoW will have. But if you're looking for a pretty casual side scroller, just want to kill some time, I think LaTale is a fun game. You know, you can sink some hours into this one. But yeah, if you guys do want to play it or learn more, you check out the full review at MMOs.com on the link below. Anyway, guys, later. I didn't mention this item upgrading too. It's all the basic elements you'd find in MMORPG. A lot of different fun, fashionable stuff too. I think the avatars are kind of like the art style is a bit odd at first, but it kind of grows on you. I think it's actually really cute. But yeah, anyway, guys, later.